All right, trying this again. I just tried it a couple minutes ago and lost the feed, but I was on a roll now. I'm gonna do it again. I got cut off. I'm gonna give you a quick story in a minute about how I got the FAA called on me on an approach to the hospital and how they were horrible and they come out and screamed and yelled at me. I'm just teasing. It ends up better than that. But this video today is inspired by a question from one of our members about flying neighborly, and I'm going to tell you about my experience with the FAA and how that went when I had a complaint. So this member's named Brian, so this is for you, Brian. He said, I'm really enjoying your videos that are addressing commonly asked questions. I have one that I hope you can respond to. We're doing these every day. I am Kenny at helicopterground.com, by the way, Helicopter Line Ground School. If you're first to one of our videos. He said, how do you make yourself aware of them as a pilot? Noise abatement areas. At the airport I did my initial training, I was made aware of the area by my instructor. When I asked local pilots at a different airport about them, they told me one area of concern, but it wasn't listed in the AFD chart supplement or in any NOTAM. I want to fly neighborly and not have any restrictions added by the FAA. Any advice? I do. If you want to go to an official publication that's really good, and I just checked it out this morning, and I just searched Fly Neighborly because I knew the FAA had something called Fly Neighborly, and it comes up as Fly Neighborly Final. After the video, I'll put it up here. I'm gonna give you a quick view. It's a short little tutorial. I went through it. It's pretty good. They go through, and there's audio to it, and also a video as well. Then they talk through the science behind helicopter noise and environment and what you should do to fly neighborly. So instead of me trying to create a great big presentation, this is a short video. That's really good. And again, I just typed in FAA Fly Neighborly and it comes up as Fly Neighborly Final. And there's some others you'll find in search, but this is the FAA's one. It's pretty good. I went through it, so you can get some really good information in there. So what I tell you is use common sense. Be smart about it. You know, if you're going into an airport and there's less houses over on this side than there is on this side, and you can safely do it versus wind, you know, avoid the houses on the other side. You know, there's a billion circumstances surrounding any time you're landing. So, as he said, sure, you need to check your, AFD, anywhere you're going, it's your responsibility as pilot in command to find out everything about that place that you're landing. So, certain airports are gonna have noise abatement rules. Most of these things are going to be posted. If you go there where there's a noise sensitive area, but it's not posted, it's not out there in any of the literature around there, then, just use your best instincts, do what's smart, avoid blade chop. We all like blade chop, right? It sounds cool in the helicopter when you're getting aggressive on the maneuvers and, you're making those old blades chop. It's fun, but realize that's one of the things that really upsets people is that blade chop. So using good common sense, number one. I mean, again, with the FAA, here's something you can go through. But use common sense. And in any time that you're going to land somewhere, if you've done your groundwork, you've checked publications, if you're going out somewhere off airport, you've visited the site, you've checked on local ordinances or any kind of issues, and the FAA gets a call later, if you can say, oh man, hey, so-and-so, on that day, I checked these publications, I made these phone calls, I checked with local ordinances, with the local community. I did everything I could do, and I thought, I was going in, using good practices, being as safe as I could. You're probably never gonna have a problem, right? And so let me give you an example of this. I'm flying EMS, and this is the actual hospital I was at. When I first went to work to this hospital, of course, the hospital administration is, telling us what we're supposed to do and not do, even though we don't work for them, right? We're a contractor providing them a service. But I'm there with the head honcho, the, male nurse that's in charge of a helicopter program who's not a pilot. The case a lot of the times, right? And then the PR guy's there. And so the PR guy's telling me, well, when you go to land here at our airport, this route in here, actually, let me pull this out a little bit where you can see a little bit better. There was 2 proposed routes, because they had a neighbor who was often calling in complaints about the helicopters coming and going. And they showed us 2 routes in. So I'm gonna give you just an example and try to make it, for simple purposes. But let's say the 2 routes are, okay, we'd like you to come in this way. We'd like you to come in this way. All right, makes sense. Hopefully you can see this, all right. because there's a neighbor over here, out here somewhere, that has a problem if you fly over his house, and he calls the FAA. So, you know, the FAA guy, or the PR guy tells me about this, and I go, okay, you know, we can try to do that most of the time. That sounds great. But what if, you know, the wind is directly this direction, and it's a high wind? I'm going to need to come over of an area more this way. So the hospital PR guy, what's he tell me? Well, I'm giving them your phone number, and every time they call, I'm going to have them call you. I'm like, dude, whatever. That's what you got to do, right? You know, that was the hospital's attitude. Well, whatever. That guy never liked me, and I never liked him after that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Point of the story is, I get a complaint called on me one night. Go in the next day. I landed, due to wind, due to safety, I did what I had to do. We did normally land the proposed routes when able, when wind provided. So the day pilot, you know, tells me when I come in the next night about the complaint, FAA showed up. Well, vice versa, same thing happened. We switched nights every other rotation, right? So when I came back to work, or when I go to work one day, same thing happened the previous night. FAA just shows up out of the blue and says, hey, we received a call about your pilot last night that he landed over this, you know, noise sensitive area. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look real quick. And we checked the winds. I'm like, well, I can see by last night, you know, he would have chose that route, you know, due to the fact of where the wind was. And they were cool with it. They said, yeah, we realize that. And we understand. We know you guys are trying to normally be careful. And when a wind's in a particular direction, you may not be able to use a proposed route. But we still have to come out when somebody complains. We have to come out and check up on it. So just giving you an example how using proposed routes is always going to be good, right? You want to fly neighborly. If there's a proposed route in there somewhere, you're going to want to use it. But you're still pilot in command. You still are in charge of any time that you make an approach to wherever it is. You want to do it, number one, the safest means possible, right? With your conditions, your wind, your load factor, whatever's going on with that particular flight, you need to do the best you can do. Now, if it's somewhere that's restricted, right? Okay, that's another whole subject. I would never tell you go fly through a restricted or a prohibited area. I'm talking in general, flying neighborly is use common sense, investigate the landing area as much as you can, do all the things that a good pilot is expected to do, and then when you get a complaint made, right, you did your best. In my 20 years, I've had interaction with the FAA quite a few times, and the FAA has always been reasonable. You know, they've never come out and just started acting like a bunch of idiots. They've never done that. Anytime something's come up in my flying career with the FAA, they always treat you fairly. You know, they got to come out, follow up a complaint, talk to you. So as long as you're doing the right thing, trying to fly neighborly, try to avoid blade chop. You know, we've all had those days where we want to say, well, you know, don't buy a house near the airport if you don't like it, you know. Well, that doesn't stop the complaint. So it's easy to have that attitude, but if you truly want to fly neighborly, you want to use good common sense, good practices. Again, I would advise checking out that Fly Neighborly from the FAA. You can even search in there Fly Neighborly Final. But after this is done uploading, I'll go below and I'll put that link down below so you can go see it. You know, just go direct to it if you want. I'd like to hear your comments about flying neighborly, good, bad, things that have happened to you, funny story, good story, bad story, whatever. These daily videos are getting pretty popular, and we're having a blast doing them. And daily I have people email me and going, hey man, I'm enjoying this. Can you do a video on this? So we're hitting a lot of things that are either asked a lot or things that are kind of important, but maybe there's not a lot of info out there on that subject yet, or maybe we haven't done it, maybe we have, but answering a lot of questions. So Helicopter Line Ground School, put a link down there below for Helicopter Line Ground School. We have private commercial CFI instrument. We have a professional pilot package where you get everything. There's monthly options, and there's also yearly, and then the big professional pilot package. I'm also going to put links down there below for our two Amazon #1 best-selling books. My first one that I did 4 years ago, Helicopter Check Ride, Amazon #1 bestseller. Then this past summer, I did one with Taz Chrisman, 2018 Flight Instructor of the Year. We did the top 10 check ride tips. Hit Amazon #1 bestseller in 4 hours. So I'll put those links below for those books. We bought a whole pile of them. So we have a stock. We own them. We'll ship them to you for $7 shipping and handling. Right now, we're shipping them anywhere for $7. We're going to make a change here in the future where we'll probably keep it $7 for US and go to $14 international, just because we're finding international shipping a lot of times can be as much as like $25. So still great value, you know, at $7, we shipping you the book, and it'll still be good value going overseas for $14. It still may, you know, be a few bucks out of you know, the ground school pocket. So go below for those links. Please leave your comments down below. Tell us about your landing issues or stories or tips or tricks. Subscribe to the channel so you can get notification on these daily videos. When you subscribe, click the bell. Please give us the thumbs up if you're enjoying our content. And if you don't enjoy our content, go down there and don't be a pussy. Oh, did I say that? Tell us why you don't. Tell us what you don't like about it. It's all right. We got big shoulders here. We've been putting out free content for 10 years, so if you don't like it, you can go bug somebody else's channel too. All right, give us a like and a share, and we will see you in the next video.